Okay, I'm going to show you how to create a purchase order. This is going to be the back office, what it looks like when you sign in. You're going to go to vendor management here, go to purchase orders. This is where all your purchase orders are. You can search to see if like an order has arrived yet, or maybe what's been missing off of an order, or what orders are still open out there, like not everything has been received yet. This is where you would do that. You can pick your status for open or closed, or you can search for everything. The closed one pretty much means either everything has come in or it's been resolved and paid for. Whether everything came in or not, it's a closed PO. Uh, that's how you would search. This is how the warehouse crew is going to find the order once it comes in the back door. This is about creating a new one. So you're going to go up here to new. You want to have all of your locations in this box over here. So you're ordering for multiple stores. You're not just ordering for warehouse. So you want to select each store for, every store that you're trying to buy products for. They are going to fix this eventually to where it defaults all the stores already in this box. So you won't have to do this every single time. If it's a store you're not ordering for, you could just hit this X and get it out of there. But for this example, I'm going to have them all in there. You want to put your buyer name in there so the warehouse guys know who created the PO. Sometimes that can be confusing, especially with like vapes and oil batteries and such. They're not sure who placed the order every time. So right here you have the wildcard things options. So this works like this through the entire system. The stars pretty much represent the unfinished word. So if I want to find any word that starts with J, I would hit J and the star. Or let's say I only know part of it. I know it starts with J-O, but I don't know the rest of the name or the description. So you hit J-O and then star. This will bring you anything that starts with J-O. If you have put stars on both sides, this will bring you any word that has J-O anywhere in it. So you can use this method for anything in the system. If you're finding products or customers or whatever, it works the same way. So in this example, I just put John. You can also just put your login. I mean, we should all already know that. So once you have that selected, hit search. See, this brings up anybody that has the word John in it. So I'm going to choose my name. I'm the buyer. Hit OK. Next, you want to select your, first, print tags. You don't need that selected. This is going to be for the back office guys when the merchandise comes in. They're going to want to have that selected. But when you're creating the order, you don't need that. Next, you want to find your vendor. You can use the same method here with the stars. You can put, like, if you don't know the exact name of the vendor, you can do like star, CO star. I know somewhere in the word it has CO in it. Hit search, and this will bring you every vendor that has CO in it. Pretty long list, but you can narrow it down if you know a little more of what's in the word. Or you can, if you know the vendor code, you can do it that way too. So I'm going to put star 3 star. I know it's 3 chi, but I can't remember if there's a space in between or not. So I'm just going to leave it as 3. Hit OK. And I see here that there is a space in it. So I'm going to choose 3 chi, hit OK. Freight amount you're not going to know yet. Vendor email you don't necessarily need. You probably have that in your own records. Print PO, you're going to want that selected if it's an order where they actually go off of, the vendor actually goes off of your physical PO. So if it's an order where you're just placing it through their website, you do not want that checked. It's just going to spit out a PO when you're done placing this order. Something like 3Chi where I just email the rep, I do want that selected. So in this case, I'm going to have that checked. Down here, you have all these tabs here, all of your options. So vendor date, you want to fill that one out. I'm placing it on the 27th. You can choose ship dates and cancel dates, but that just, you're kind of relying on the vendor to actually read this as an option. So that's, if you send them an email and you say like, hey, I have a ship date of this or that, you can select that, but I don't think it's necessary. The main thing is just the order date. Terms, you're not really going to need. We don't really keep track of this stuff in the system. It's mainly just on the invoices. So comments, back office is mainly going to use this whenever we're receiving merchandise. If there's like broken merchandise or something's missing, we're probably going to use this as the notes. So 8651, we had like 3 missing or something. So as a buyer, not necessary. If you have special instructions, I would just continue emailing us about it and we'll just go off of that. The vendor integration comments, so this is for the vendors. So I don't know what special instructions you might have, but this is where you would put it and it would print out on the purchase order and they could read it. Usually I just put comments like this in the actual email. So don't know how necessary it is, but it's there if you need it. PO settings you don't need. This is for shipping terms. Distribution, this is the one thing you're going to have to fill out on every single purchase order. You have to have this set at pre-distro. This is telling us that there are multiple stores, you have splits, and you want it distributed in this way. You want to have it pre-distro, and you want to have it as the warehouse receiving the order. So very important you have these two things set, or we're not going to know what to do with the order when it comes in the back door. Store totals, you could use this at the end. Once you have all of your merchandise listed down here that you're ordering, this will populate all of your costs and your retail, your margins, anything you need to see there. Once you have all that filled out, you can go ahead and start putting your items in here. There's a couple ways of doing it. If you know what the product number is by maybe going off of a report or something, and you're looking at a separate spreadsheet, you can just type in everything you want to type in, and it gets listed down here. Everything that's listed down here is everything that you are placing the order for, whether it's a 0 or a number in there. If it stays a 0, it's not going to print out on the PO. So you can have as many items listed in here as you want. The only ones that are going to populate on the actual purchase order are ones that have a quantity on it. So just because I put screens and incense in here doesn't mean that I have to order it. Another way of doing this, so like I have 3Chi selected as my order, that's my vendor. I can go to find product, and this is all of your filtering that you could use to find the list of products that you're ordering for. So you can go to brand, that's one way of doing it. In this scenario, I could just pick 3Chi, that would work because 3Chi is the vendor, that's the only brand they carry. Something like A to Z, this would not work. You can't just go to A to Z as a vendor and select Dutch Masters. You're only going to get Dutch Masters populated. So to do that, you would go here to OF2. OF2 is actually your vendor. This is the vendor for like reporting purposes, and I'll get into that later. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to 3Chi. Just because I want to see everything that vendor carries. If you're just picking up one or two things, you don't need to see an entire list. You can just go here and type in description 1, whatever. You have all these options here. So I'm going to pick 3Chi. I want to see everything that they carry that we've had before in the past, and hit search. This brings up all the products. If you only want to choose a few of them, you can hit the control and just highlight each one you want to see, or brought over to the actual purchase order list. Or if you want to select this entire list, and I don't even care if I'm ordering it or not, I just want to go through the entire list and see if I need it, you would click the top one, highlight it, hit shift, and then hit the bottom one. That will highlight this entire list. Once they're all highlighted, you can hit OK, and this will bring all of those items over to your list here. So you can just go down this entire list, fill in your quantities here where all these zeros are, and that is your purchase order. If it's something like you don't need it on here, oh, I accidentally put bags of screens on here, you have a remove product on here. So highlight this item, hit remove product, hit yes, and that takes the screens off of there. You can do the same with anything you don't want on the list. So bulk incense, I know I don't need it on here. It doesn't come from 3Chi. I'm going to remove it. Hit yes. So now I'm going to start my order. This is your description 1. The product represents what the vendor uses as their product code. This column right here is not really necessary for us. I think, maybe the only time it would be useful is t-shirts or something, maybe jewelry, where we actually go off of this code sometimes, but this is mainly just for the vendor. And if you notice, the descriptions are a lot less, I don't know, descriptive, I guess. The brand represents a lot of this. So just because it says D8 cart, there could be other D8 cart descriptions somewhere in the system, but this one is represented by 3Chi. So this is how I know it's a 3Chi D8 cart. In Retail Pro, we couldn't do that. So we had to put the brand name in the description. You don't have to do that anymore. We can start filling out these descriptions a lot more detailed now if we want to. I think it holds up to 40 or 50 characters. So the brand is going to tell you a lot, and then you can call this whatever you need to now. There's no limitation, really. I don't think any description is going to get that long. So if you want to start editing your stuff, you can, little by little, I guess. So from here, you're going to double click anywhere there's a 0 right here for your product that you want to order. And once you're in here, you can see how many are on hand per store. This is something in their ticket system to fix this. As you can see, they're still just store numbers. They don't have store names in this section yet. They are working on it. So once you double click it and you're in edit mode here, you can see that the warehouse has -8, which this has been a lot of testing products, so these numbers are not going to be accurate yet. On order, this will tell you if this product has any kind of like open orders anywhere else in the system. So if I ordered this like 2 or 3 weeks ago and the last purchase order is still open, I know that this product didn't come in. So you can kind of gauge it off of that. If I had 10 right here, I'm not going to order another 10 because obviously they didn't have them 2 weeks ago when I should have got them. They're probably still on the way because there's a purchase order that's still open. Once you close the purchase order, this will go back to 0. So this is only for open POs. Your min and max, this will be updated every night, so it should be accurate. And you can just go down the list with your arrow button or you can double click on each one, whatever's easier for you. I like to just start on the first one, type my number, and go down the list with my arrows. But, you know, whatever you want to do. You have some options up here. You can mess around in there. They're not super necessary, but it might give you some other info. If you know, like maybe there's a new barcode, you can go to barcodes and enter the new one before the order even comes in, but that rarely happens. So if you want to mess around in here, there's not really anything you can screw up. It's mainly just informational. So once you have your quantities in here, hit save, and you can see it totals it to 14. When the order actually comes in, we are going to receive it exactly off of this screen right here. So when it comes in, Dave or whoever's processing the order is going to find this product. He's going to double click in here, and he's going to receive these numbers that you had. And if it's not accurate and you're missing some, he's only going to fulfill what came in. But this is where the splits are populated on the receiving side. So anything you put in here is what we're going to go off of. That list that I brought over, it only showed product. So when you get to an item like this is the product. These are the individual items that represent that product. So this list is always, it's probably going to be longer than the list that you had highlighted when you brought everything over here. So you can go down the list. Let's say I don't need any of those. You can go down to the next one. I don't need any of those. And it automatically, if you notice, it highlights the next item. So like I started here. I don't need any. I hit save. It goes down to the next item by itself. You just have to double click it. So this kind of helps you not lose your place of you going down the line. So Blackberry Kush, I'm going to order some of these. It says I have -4. I got one on order, which means there's one on the way on an open purchase order somewhere. So maybe I don't need any more for the warehouse. I'm going to get a couple for here, a couple for here, whatever. Hit save, and it populates a 6. You get the idea. So from here, it gives you a grand total. It gives you a grand total of the cost, the retail, and you can also go back up here to your tabs where I said store totals, and this gives you a little more information. So this breaks it down by the store. How much did you spend per location? This is the retail per location. You know, your retail ordered, your cost ordered, whatever, your units, everything. So when you're done, you're going to hit save and exit. And this is going to give you an option to print the PO. One of these is for the vendor, and one of these is for like our internal use. So the vendor one is not going to have cost. All it's going to have is the product, the description, the attribute, and the quantity that we need. That's pretty much all of the vendor one is going to have. I'm trying to remember which is which. I think combined, let's just see. Okay, combined PO is the vendor one because you can see it doesn't have any cost or retail on it. This is what the vendor is going to see. Whenever you hit print, you can export this to a PDF, very similar to, you know, how Retail Pro works. You're going to export it, or you can print a piece of paper, whatever. I'm going to export it. It's going to look very similar to this, except it's going to be not landscape. It's going to be portrait. So it's going to look tighter than this. If I select portrait, there you go. That's what it's going to look like. So hit save. And now you can save it anywhere. This is my home computer, so I don't have that shared folder like I normally do. I'm just going to call this 3G order, and I'm going to save it to the desktop. Hit save. You can close this, and that is it. You are done with your purchase order. If you want to look at it or edit before the order comes in or anything, you need to add something to it. You can go here to status. You want to find your open POs, because obviously it's not closed yet. You can select your vendor if you want to, or you can just search for all of the open POs. And these are the open ones. This is the one I just did. If you hit this little pencil, it'll take you to the edit. There's also action up here where you can do several things with it. This is how we are going to receive it whenever it comes in the back door. So I think from it, like, let's say you need to reprint it, you can do that from here. Yeah, there's just options in there if you want to mess around. So hit this pencil, it will take you back in here. And if you did notice here, I didn't order for all the locations. So it's only showing the locations that I put on the order. Also, when you come down here, it doesn't have any product that had a 0 selected. So just because you brought over that entire list of the vendor, 3Chi products, it's only going to populate the ones that you actually put a number on. It's going to, kick out all the rest of it because you don't need it on the purchase order anyway. So that's that. The other thing that you need to start doing for everything to start working smoother is going to be putting tag designs for every single item in the system that needs a tag. And I'll show you that on the next video.